I think there's probably a little bit more bounce early on in this wicket and a little bit of seam. I think both sides bowl well with the new ball. I mean, Sid's yesterday had a really good spell at Azhar Ali there with the new ball, and obviously Mohamed Abbas has got the chocolates there with some crucial wickets. So I think that's probably the main difference. Seems to be spinning a little bit more off the middle of the wicket, which we didn't really get a hell of a lot. The middle stayed pretty good in Dubai, but the way that Nathan bowled tonight, it looked like that even pitching on middle stump, there was still some spin there. So there's definitely going to be some challenges there for us in the second dig. I think the way that they come out and bowled this morning was really good. Mohamed Abbas didn't miss the stumps too often. He always bowls a good length, so it's up to us to try and negate that, especially in the second dig, and come up with some really good plans against him. He's bowled well in the last couple of innings against us, so I don't think that it's the amount of seam or anything like that. I think it was just some really good bowling. Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good wicket so far. We saw yesterday some spin early from Nathan Lyon. There was a touch of moisture in the wicket, and I think that's why the spin was there. And now it's starting to dry out and get a little bit powdery. But I think underneath the surface, it's not quite as hard as what we expected. So it's a little bit of platiness, and that's where the seam's coming from, and a tiny bit of grass. So all in all, I think it's been a pretty fair wicket so far. They've just played better than us for the first 2 days. I wouldn't say deflated. I think that there was obviously a bit of feeling that we let them off the hook a little bit yesterday. I think the way that Zaman and Sarfraz batted, obviously very positive against us and tried to change the momentum of the game that way, was great by them. And I think today they just had the better of us. We seem to be losing those 1 hour periods that seem to be a big collapse. If we can limit that to one wicket and then start building a partnership, I think we can start chipping away longer and longer. But we know the challenges that you have in these conditions when a new batter comes in against quality spinners and particularly a quality fast bowler. So yeah, it was disappointing a couple of days, but the camp's still positive. We managed to hold on and scrap for a brilliant draw in the first test. So we see still 2 results on the board. Wickets, first off, obviously chipping away there, and I thought the way that we bowled in the last session today was outstanding. Obviously Nathan creating a couple of chances was outstanding. A late opportunity, 50-50 chance from John there. Thought we bowled exceptionally well and just didn't quite get the rewards that we're after. But that's cricket. They played well. They played positive cricket. So I think in the morning it's about still being patient, trying to control the scoreboard as much as we can, but wickets and back-to-back wickets I think are going to be important to stay in the game. Just a bit of management of Mitch there. Obviously the conditions are pretty hot, so trying to look after the fast bowler. As far as I know he is, yeah, he bowled with enough pace. Today the quicks didn't bowl a huge amount, so as far as I know he is, yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see how far this Pakistan innings goes. I think when we do get an opportunity to bat, it's about breaking it down into small targets, whether it's chasing any kind of total or whether we're holding on. It's about just breaking it down into 10 minutes, 20-minute periods, or 10 runs, 20 runs, just getting little partnerships going and seeing where we're going, see where we get to. I think that it'd be naive to think that we're just going to go out and blast away and chase runs, but I think at the same time it'd also be tough to think that we can hold on and bat for a draw for 2.5 days if that's the case. So I think it's just about assessing where we get to and where each partnership starts off. I think it's nothing that none of us have not seen before, but I suppose just a little bit of seam there, particularly to new batters, is so important. Saw him coming wide on the crease to the left-handers, seaming it across them, then around the wicket. And that's the most difficult ball to face if someone's angling them in at the stumps. And we know that he's always there and thereabouts on the stumps. He doesn't go over the stumps. He doesn't miss them too often. So, yeah, I think that does have its challenges. But I'm sure in the second innings that we'll get that right. I think he was out of the rooms pretty quick. It was just a little bit of a brain meltdown, I think, from Marnus. It was just one of those things, just a lapse of concentration for a second, and before you know it, you're back in the shed. So it was disappointing, but That happens in cricket. It's not ideal, but that happens. Well, we didn't really know about it until last test, about the 3 metres. Pitching in line, hitting the stumps. To me, that's strange. I mean, obviously I understand the element of predicting the path of the ball, so that's something that have gone against us a couple of times. But that's the game, and that's just the rule. So we've just got to deal with it. And it was an interesting one. I honestly haven't thought about it too much. I think as the technology improves, as we've seen it from day one of DRS to now, I think it's improved a lot. So I think in time we'll be able to, it'll be 100% accurate or 99% accurate. So rules like that will always tinker and change slightly, I think. Yeah, it was just a bit of confusion again. Where 3 metres is down the wicket, if it's still hitting the stumps and hitting in line, like can we tinker the rule to? I know it's sounding sour at the moment because we've been on the receiving end, but it's certainly not. We understand where the rule's at now, but maybe if it's hitting in line and if all three are still red, maybe there's a chance to overturn it. But yeah, we just got to deal with that. It's a part of the game, and it's unfortunate that they didn't go our way, but that's cricket. And a lot of the time when a team has momentum, them things go their way, and we've certainly been on the back foot, and that's through our own doing. I think that all in all we've bowled pretty well in patches. I think the simplicity of his plan to just bowl at the stumps with nice straight fields, limit your scoring, I think that's probably been his real strength, and I think at times we've done that really well for periods, and at times we've leaked a few. Our plans have still been good, and that's just a little bit of execution at times, and I don't think that's when you've got guys who are probably a little bit quicker than him and looking for a little bit more out of the wicket. I think that can happen. You go searching a touch more, whereas he's just very simple, very, very good. But nothing we can't overcome in the second dig. Yeah, I think a little bit frustrated would be fair. I think he's bowled really well. Today I think he was probably the most economical bowler, or the most economical spell that he's bowled for the tour, and he bowled exceptionally well. Didn't give anything away, and just missing those couple of rewards that would obviously propel him on to maybe a bag in a session or just something like that, that things just haven't gone his way so far this test or this series, but tomorrow might be a great day for him.
Last one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that first innings is always key to set up the game. We've seen Pakistan in the first test go really big in the first innings, and that gives them freedom in the second innings to play as aggressive as they want or as conservative as they want, and then the game's in your hand. You can pull out when you want and declare. And it's the same again in this game. We've left ourselves a little bit too far behind the game. So as soon as Zaman comes out and plays aggressively and takes the game away in a few overs, then all of a sudden you're unsure whether to keep your catches in or you retreat and try and control the scoreboard. So that's the beauty of going big in your first innings. You control the game, and I think it goes a long way to winning games if you're setting up that first innings. And traditionally, wickets do get harder and harder to bat on, so we're just probably left ourselves a little bit too much work to do at the back end of games in the past, which no doubt we'll address, and going forward, hopefully we can keep improving on that.
Thanks everyone.
Cheers, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you.